Hello everyone, in this video we're going to explore Keynote and learn how to use it to create fast and easy presentations on macOS. So stick around and let's get to it. Keynote is an application from Apple that comes bundled with each copy of macOS. You can also download the iPhone version or iPad, and in recent versions it's also possible to save your work in iCloud. So you can start working on your desktop and then pick up where you left from, maybe on your couch or on your train ride to work, maybe, perhaps. Anyway, why would you use this instead of, say, for example, a tool like Sketch or Illustrator to build your presentation? Well, I would say primarily because Keynote was built specifically for this purpose. So it does have a few tricks to make editing presentations a very fast process. It's also very lightweight, and it comes for free with your Mac, and the learning curve isn't that steep. In fact, we're going through the basics right now, so grab your jeans and black turtleneck sweater and let's get started. Okay, we can create a new presentation by going to the menu, clicking on New, and we can pick a ready-made theme to get started. You can choose between standard and wide formats. Some old projectors may not be compatible with the wide format, so for now we're going to pick something simple just to get started. Let me just resize this. So, quick overview of the UI. We have the navigator area, which we can quickly iterate to our different slides, which are part of our presentation. We have the preview area, where we can see and edit the current slide. And we have the toolbar area, where we can see the types of media that we can add to our slide. We'll go over those next. We also have this sidebar here. So we have the format, which is going to change depending on what element we are editing. The animate, which is going to be used for adding transitions and effects. We'll go over those in a few moments. And the document, which we can use to change the theme at any point if we are tired of this one, or we can edit some specific settings for our presentation. White. And that's a quick overview. Let's take a look at what we can do with our slide. So here in the editing area, we can double click on this text box or text area. So let's add a title here, Sketchcasts, and we can also click on this, and you can see we can reposition it anywhere on our slide. We can use these guidelines to help it position it better. How to use Keynote. Okay, so that's helpful. So what does a slide consist of? So if we if you look at the format sidebar, we can see that the slide does have several properties. We have the layout or master, so we can choose a different one if we want. So we could choose one with a pretty image or not, or for example, we can go back to our simple title and body. We can also disable this and it won't show. And we can also change the background color. So you can choose from one filled out or just a gradient or even an image. And we can use this to edit our slide layout. So that's a quick overview of the properties that we have on our slides. But we're not going to do a presentation with just one slide. So let's see, we can go to the button here on the toolbar, add a slide, and we can choose one of these layouts. So let's choose title center and go with some text here and see what else we can do. So we can, on the text area, we can resize this, and we can also fill it out with a different color if we want, or give it a border, some shadows, add some nifty reflections, I guess, or not, but anyway, these options are here available if we want to. We can also change the text to a different font or size. All of that is possible, so we can adapt this to the style we want, and it will do that pretty easily. If we can start adding more content here. So for example, let's add another slide with text on the top. Let's call this shapes and options. So we can see what shapes we have here. We can add, for example, a cube or a circle, and you can see that, let's see the different options we have here. So we can fill this with a different color if we want, or border. We can also fill it out with the image, add its own reflection. That's fine. We could eventually fill it out with text. So for example, we could just green, blue, and we can use the lines to help us position this or align the objects. Oh, no, not center. Let's say, for example, top, left. No. I want to add these in the middle. Right. Okay. So these can be very helpful to better position our elements on the slide. So as you may have noticed, these tabs will change depending on what object we have selected on our main slide. And we can also use this to arrange our elements. So for example, I could want to put this on the bottom instead of on the front. So this will be very helpful. We could also add an image here or a movie. Usually adding movies in conferences doesn't work, I don't know, 1 out of 3 times. There will be audio problems or something else that will stop the movie from playing. So maybe that's not a very good option. But we can definitely add this from our photos, or just drop in here. That will be also an option. So let's add an image here, which is as simple as dragging this from our desktop to our slide, and we can, let's see, we can actually edit the mask. So we can choose, edit mask. So we can choose here just to display a small portion of our image instead of all of that. And we can do that right here from we can also zoom out or zoom in. So we can do that right from the editor, which is pretty cool. So we can also send this to back. So we can have these several layers of these objects themselves, and we can actually show these by going to view and show object list. So all of them will be listed here, and we can actually group them together. So you can go here and say group. So now this will be just one group. So I can go here and say image, I don't know, something more descriptive, but we can definitely use this to better organize what objects we have on our layout for our slide. In most cases, I don't think we'll use this unless we're using this to add really complex presentations, which in most cases I guess we should keep things simple. So let's add another slide here, and we should explore more of the other options here. For example, we could add charts or tables, but I don't think we're not going to go into much detail here, but we could change these fairly quickly, and if we want to present data in your presentations, we can do so. We can change the style and the colors, just like the other options. So this is a very good option if you want to present this sort of data inside a presentation. There's different options here, even 3D. So I guess this will cover most of our needs if we want to present this type of content. Finally, let's explore the bane of every presentation, which is the animations. So what can we do regarding animations using Keynote? Well, let's add a slide here to show some examples. So animations. First of all, we can animate the transition between two slides. So I can come here to this one, add effect, for example, dissolve. And I can start this transition between the two slides on click or in an automatic way. So let's preview how this will happen. So I am here on shapes and options. I go to the chart slide and I go to the animation slide with that transition. And I can tweak this. I can change the type, and I can also add specific animations to elements. So for example, I can go to this cube and add an effect. So animations used in slides are called transitions, and animations used in elements are called effects. So I can make this, for example, blur. And if I go to view, show build order, and let me add here, no, actually let me add an effect here as well. So appear, I can make this appear animation show automatically when we transition, and we can make this square animation manual. So if I go to play this, then go to animations, yeah, then it will show only when I click there. So this is just a basic example. In fact, we shouldn't overdo it with this type of transitions, I guess. If you noticed, when you have effects on your slides, it will show these three dots, and when you have a transition, it will show this triangle, blue triangle on the corner. So that way you know this as transition and this as effects there. Finally, let's go over some options for testing and actually train our presentation. First, we can show the presenter notes. If we go to view, we can go view, show presenter notes, and we can add keywords or simply information that we don't want to forget during our presentation. So, for example, let's see, talk about toys, mention all the Easter eggs. So how can we actually see this? Well, we can go to play and we can actually demo our presentation. So if we can go to start, and we can use the arrow keys to navigate to our different slides. And let me see if I can share this other screen. If you have two displays, you can, let me see if I can switch this. You can see more options. Okay, so we can see, for example, the next slide or the current slide. If you don't want that, you can also show the presenter notes as well. So for example, let's see, now we can go to oh, sorry. So we can see in this slide we have these notes. So we can remove this. So we can actually see your notes on one display and the actual presentation on another. So you can use this to train. You have the clock, or instead of the clock, you can also have a timer. And you can use this to train your presentation until it's perfect, I guess. So you can also use this on your iPhone app, and you can also share this with someone else and collaborate on your presentation. So these are all the basic options that I wanted to cover here. And finally, you can save your presentation to your desktop or iCloud and use that to collaborate with someone else, or just open it on your iPhone or iPad and continue to edit from there. You can also export this to HTML or PDF and use that to present somewhere if they don't support Keynote. So lots of options there. And actually, that was everything that I wanted to cover on this video. Finally, the advice I can give you is to make the presentations as simple as possible. You don't actually need to use any of these transitions. Keep the things simple, less is more, and that's all I wanted to cover on this video. We can share more tips and tricks on the next one, like for example, how to prototype using Keynote. So I see you in the next video. Thanks.